I love you all with all my heart, with all my mind. The video feed got caught off because I'm talking about some serious hard stuff here. These are real things. This is objective reality. So I'm gonna stray back in. I'm not really gonna watch the previous video so you understand where we at. So essentially I was talking about the singularity events that occur at the heart of the galaxy, because then again the sun, star, which is an infinite number of stars across existence, is just an event horizon. This singularity, due to the electromagnetic field of creation of the sun itself, generates the conditions for elements to be created at its core. So the byproduct of the singularity, this highly powerful gravitational force, the result of it, its escape velocity, generates light itself, meaning it creates light because it's faster and more powerful than light itself. Because of this power, this centrifugal force, this electromagnetism, this polarization, this angular momentum, this force, this torque that is created due to the motions of the gravitational pull itself, generates the singularity at a scale that is so large that generates escape velocity, meaning light itself forms as a result of the singularity event happening as a result of the centrifugal forces and the toroidal forces at the heart of a star. And this is the first primordial element that creates life as we know it due to light. But this again is a phenomenon that is natural and its occurrence is universal, meaning it happens across the board. This is objective reality. This is not unique to a sun. In fact, it's unique to everything. That's why creation itself, infinity itself, is spherical in nature, is polarized electromagnetism, because it's conscious and self-aware of its own motion and of its own creation at the scale of infinity, which creates everything in the first place. So if you understand this notion, which is a very basic notion, once you understand the physics of it, it's all based on the sphere. And we can observe, I have a sphere right here. You see, gravitational. It's gravitational. It spins. You see, it's polarization. So it's very simple once you understand it at our level, biological level. But we're talking about infinity and compass of what free will is. So that's why I'm referring to this. So what the sun does, the creation of elements, the primordial element, periodic table, hydrogen, that creates the conditions for planets to emerge in the first place, right? For planets to emerge in the first place, right? The conditions for planets to emerge in the first place, that also spherical like the sun, and they have their own electromagnetic field just like the sun, happen as a result of this singularity event, this powerful force happening at the core of the sun, generating elements, because the escape velocity generates the collision of particles at that scale is faster than light itself, so it creates light. And we measure light through elements, and hydrogen is the first element of creation at the periodic table level. So this is a powerful notion, but this is not unique to the sun, because the electromagnetic field of creation itself is actually a scale, is an organizing agent, is a pattern of creation itself, is a structure that replicates across existence and infinitely, because everything is spherical. Everything that's self-conscious and is conscious and aware is spherical in nature, just like the sun itself, creating life by creating elements that generate the primordial conditions of life itself, biology and all that, is spherical in nature. The sun is spherical in nature. It has an electromagnetic field, polarized electromagnetic field, that is spherical in nature. The earth itself, that is created as a result of all the different conditions generated as a result of life itself and the emergence of the electromagnetic polarized field of the sun. That itself is that object itself is spherical. And then the sun, the earth itself has its own electromagnetic field that is also spherical. And then us, biological beings, are also, we also have an electromagnetic field that's spherical, generated from the resonance of the human heart. So nature is spherical, creation is spherical, is energy, spherical energy is conscious polarized electromagnetic energy that creates. Creation creates creators, and that's why it creates different scales. But what's bigger than the sun? And then again, remember, the sun has its own singularity at the heart of it, creating elements as a result of it, as a result of escape velocity. So what's bigger than the sun? Well, bigger than the sun at an astronomical scale will be a galaxy. If you think at a galactical scale, a galaxy has an infinite number of objects in it. We don't really know. My assumption is that it's infinite, because infinity is the pattern of creation itself, is the organizing agent, is the structure of reality. And if you understand this, well, what's a galaxy? Well, a galaxy is toroidal in nature. It has a singularity at an event horizon at the heart of it. You see, it's all about the heart. At the core, the very center, the middle, the center of gravity of a galaxy, a random galaxy, any galaxy, at the heart of it is this singularity event, this vortex. And this vortex is generated as a result of what? Well, the toroidal forces of the event horizon, meaning the electromagnetic field of the galaxy. Imagine an electromagnetic field, a spherical electromagnetic field, a polarized electromagnetic field of a galaxy. A galaxy contains an infinite number of objects. So just think about the magnitude, the size, the large, the immensity, how massive the electromagnetic field of a galaxy is. I'm gonna turn the heater off. So there's all this background noise. I'm talking about these things and I get excited. So I forgot to turn the heater off. See, it's a lot quieter now. So think about it fundamentally and what this means. The galaxy itself. And there is an infinite number of galaxies. Okay? And they're all spherical in nature. So, but let's talk about it. So, a galaxy has its own electromagnetic field of creation that is polarized. Electromagnetic. It has a singularity event at the heart of it, which is what gives it that shape in the first place. Is why everything rotates around it, because of the gravitational pull of the singularity event at the heart of it. And that itself is what creates the escape velocity of the energy itself, creating stars in the first place and creating all this energy, spewing all this energy into existence, into creation itself, into reality, into eternity. It's just spewing all this energy. The vacuum, space itself, creation itself, infinity itself is spewing out all this energy, high density energy that forms into suns and stars. And then each of them form solar systems, and it goes like that. And that's what a galaxy is. An agglomeration is an aggregate of all these spherical forces. So if you understand this notion, you see, and you can apply that to infinity, because it's an infinite number of galaxies. So then galaxies also cluster, and there's clusters of galaxies. You see, we call them quadrants. So it's a quadrant out there of an infinite number of galaxies, and they all part of this bigger electromagnetic pool that could bring them together. And when they come together in clusters, then it forms that electromagnetic pulse. Because then again, why are these galaxies in the quadrants of existence itself coming together in the first place? Because of the gravitational pull generated by the electromagnetic field that is generated as a result of all these synergy coming together, which is also spherical. And you see these bubbles almost, spherical creation itself replicating across existence. And this is an infinite number of them. And it applies forever. And then we can bring that back to our scale, which is compass A, which is spherical in nature, just because we are spherical in nature. And this is why we have free will. Because we're infinite energy, you see? And energy infinite energy has given us this ability. You see, infinite energy has given us this ability to be conscious and self-aware, because it's polarized in nature, it's electromagnetic, it's self-aware and conscious, and it replicates at all scales. And the scales that are more obvious to us are the ones that we can see with our eyes, with our senses, because we're bound to the earth. At this stage, we're bound to the earth. We don't really have the spaceships at the moment to go outside the solar system consciously as a civilization. We'll get there. But at this stage, we are bound to the earth. So we are limited to what we can see with our senses from the earth. And what can we see from the earth? Well, we can see the sun. And the sun is the central star of our solar system. And is spherical in nature, and it has its own electromagnetic field. We can see the earth because we have ways in which we can look back and see where we're from. Blue origin, our planet home host, our mama, the Republic of Planet Earth, that gave us life in the first place. We can see it, and is spherical in nature, has its own electromagnetic field of creation. And then it's us individually. All of us have our own electromagnetic field of creation, which is spherical in nature. You see, this is the pattern. And then because we have very powerful telescopes that allow us to peek and see beyond what we can see with the naked eye in the skies, we can see that there's actually bigger things out there outside the solar system, and that's the things that I'm referring to. You see galaxies and things. And that's what that is. You see, galaxies is the biggest. It's after the sun, then that scale. See, it's that scale. It's the scale of creation that is also spherical in nature, electromagnetized and polarized, because it has its own singularity. It has its own event horizon at the core of it, just like the sun, just like the earth, just like us with a human heartbeat. Our singularity, biologically speaking, is the human heartbeat. It generates this electromagnetic field, this resonance that gives us life. You see, it's just beautiful. So we are compass, and compass is that. Is the ability to create, because creation creates creators, and we are creators. Why? Because we have a human heartbeat, and the human heartbeat allows us to create, because we are alive as a result of the human heartbeat, and we live to love, and we love to live. This is all basic biology. This is objective reality. So let's start there. So remember, this is about free will. Compass that's y.how/free-will. That's y.how/free-will. So start at the top. Compass manifests free will. Why? Because we are energy. And we are conscious energy. We're self-aware energy. We're light spherical beings. See, we have a true self. And our true self guides us. And what does our true self guide? Our purposeful daily action. Because we choose, because we're conscious and self-aware, we're sentient. We are creators ourselves. We choose our creations because we're purposeful. We are purposefully created to create ourselves. But we choose our creation because we're conscious and self-aware. We have a mind of our own. We have our dimensions, we have our boundaries, and we choose what our creations are because we are conscious and self-aware. We are sentient. We're intelligent. We have the ability to choose. And we call this notion free will. We have free will. We choose our creations. And the way we prove free will is with purposeful daily action. We take action here and now, and we're proving free will because we are creating, you see? And our creation is of our own. We choose what our creations are. And it has to do with our dimensions, with our boundaries. I've spoken about this in the previous video live. And what that represents, we choose that because of our conditions, because of our contexts, because of who we are. We have the ability to choose based on our, life experience. Each individual has their own life experience, and we choose based on that. Based on that is the beauty of life, that it gives us the ability to choose to have free will. And we manifest free will with purposeful daily action. Because when you have a vision of who you are, a vision about the future, a vision about who you want to be, your true self guiding you, a dream, then that's the destination, the dream. The dream comes true. And how do we make our dreams come true? How do we manifest our dreams? With purposeful daily action. We take action that is purposeful, that is leading us towards our outcome. And that outcome, the end state, the result is love. His creation itself is our dream. And that's how it works. So compass manifests free will because that's who we are. It starts with identity and true self because of the human heartbeat. Then that moves into purpose because it's our choice. We choose our purpose. We live to love and we love to live. We're purposeful life, purposeful results. That's what we want, purposeful goals. We all want to be happy, but we choose our own creation. And how do we go about it? Well, we have effective and efficient management of our time and energy, which is the third primary element of compass. Identity and true self being the first one and purpose being the second one. We see purpose comes as a result of identity and true self because us, with our free will, choose our purpose. It's identity-based purpose. And then, of course, the fourth primary element is action itself. You see, because we have a human heartbeat, it powers the human body, so we have the body energy to take purposeful action. And then our heart is engaged because we're conscious and self-aware, and we can love our actions, our movement, our stimulation, our flow. And then what does that do? Well, it resonates with daily action, our heart energy. And then that leads to mind energy, focused on daily action, so we can be creative and engage and have ideas that are powerful. And then our behaviors will be much more consequential and much more purposeful. You see, it's all connected, and that leads to true self energy, which is guiding daily action in the first place. You see, our agency. Then that leads to the fifth primary element, which is why how is the recalibrating mechanism. That's what it is. Is the recalibration mechanism. Is the self-correcting mechanism. We make sure that we stay on true north. We always headed towards our destination. Establishes our bearings. It makes sure that the directional compass is always on true north, so we get to where we're supposed to, which is our dreams. Our dreams come true. And how do we get there? Through manifesting our free will, and we do that through purposeful daily action, guided by our true self energy, which is itself singularity. The heart itself is singularity, escape velocity of our consciousness, of self-awareness, guiding us, who we are. Self-awareness is infinity itself. It's beautiful. So that's who we are, you see. And flow was the sixth primary element, is energy, you see. Flow is that. We are energy, light spherical beings with motion, with stimulation. We flow with our actions, and actions is that, is motion, is energy. And then because we are biological, our heart energy is measurable. We love with our heart. So what's emotions is energy. Emotions is a feeling, right? So we love. So we if we feel good about our actions, we flow. Our actions are good. We feeling good, purposeful life, meaningful life, happy life, fulfilled life. Then you are taking the right actions. You're in flow, and then that leads to the seventh primary element, true north. We are headed. We're on the way. We're on path. We're on track. We're on the course. We're in the journey, and then that leads us to the eighth primary element, with this destination. That's compass right there, free will. So let's go to the next line. Value as the organizing agent, pattern, and structure. You see, values. Then again, I'm going to repeat that again. Values as the organizing agent, pattern, and structure. What do you mean by that? Values. Well, values, see, is the six primordial values of compass that encompass who we are. That's who, why, how, what, when, and where. Those are the values. Who, why, how, what, when, and where. Those six values, they organize as agents. It's a pattern and structure, you see, and it's very, who is us, identity and true self. Why is purpose, infinity itself. See, because why has an infinite nature. Infinity itself, purpose itself. So that's it. Why is that? How is the principles, the behaviors, see, the way we go about it. The way we go about it. The how. Hey, the what is that? The task, the dream. Okay? The task itself, the job itself, the activity itself that is required. The what. Okay, the what you're doing, that. And why, how is there. Who, why, how, what. It's all coming together. See? It's all embedded in compass, spherical. And then comes what? When. What's when? Time. Time and energy together. Hey, when. Well, when you choose, and the moment is here and now, the present moment, because that's what proves free will. Purposeful daily action here and now with the values. When? Well, when? Now. Here and now. So you see, it's all coming together, and when is powerful because when is also flow. When you flow, flowing. See, energy, emotions, it's all part of it. See, all the primary elements of compass are contained within the values. These values: who, why, how, what, when, and where. And then that leads us to the last value, which is where. And when and where, they always come together. They are just the twins. They come together. And what's way? Destination. You see? The destination. And also the location, where it happens, where the event happened, where the activity, the task, the job takes place. The action that you're taking takes place at a location, geolocation, okay? An actual coordinate, a place, a timestamp that has a hash to it, that has a location attached to it. So that's it. You see, it's all about networks. It's all about networks and mathematics. It's all about distribution systems. Why? Because the distribution system in essence ends up being spherical. If you look at a network and how it works, it ends up being all these nodes and all these different branches and all these different shards and all these different clusters. But if you max out, if you zoom out, then it shapes up just like a galaxy or like a neural network into a sphere, because of it's the pattern of creation itself. So creation is spherical in nature. I always talk about this because, hey, it's just objective reality. So values as the organizing agent, you see, pattern and structure. And you can rearrange the order of the values, but then again, you're gonna get to the end state, which is manifesting free will. And then that's why you have purpose-led strategy, and that's why you have flawless execution and the ladder, and this is what you have all these different elements. This is what you have purposeful goals and the order of purposeful goals. And it's all about that. It's compass itself. The values are the metamorphosis of it. I speak about it all the time. Metamorphosis is one of the original videos, the transformation that inside out transformation, how we move from unawareness to awareness, unconsciousness to consciousness, and understood our nature as compass, as sundials, infinite, nature of light spherical beings, who we are, benevolent species, a benevolent race. So you see all these agents, meaning the values, they organize themselves according to the conditions, so we can manifest our free will, because we are compass, we're spherical in nature. And they form patterns, and these patterns are structure. It's a structure, and the structure tends to be spherical. Our actions tend to be spherical because they come full circle. You see, completion, full completion. We come to an end state. The goal, completion. So it implies circularity. It implies equifinality. It implies an end state as a result of your actions. So it all comes full circle because we're spherical in nature. And then, of course, the values are the organizing agents, the patterns. And that's how we go about our purposeful daily action with our daily energy. And all these different things that I have spoken to you about is part of the book, is part of Compass. And this is what it is electromagnetism, is polarization. You see, is creation itself, because we manifest free will, and we do that through purposeful daily action here and now. And remember very well, this is important, like we shatter illusions and render them obsolete. We shatter fantasies and render them obsolete. Why? Because we're energy. See, our heart energy vibrates at a high frequency. And what does that mean? Well, we shatter things because it's electrical, it's electromagnetism, it's current, it's electricity. And all these fantasies, all these illusions outside our control, these mediums and media, that day to be shattered, to be disintegrated, just like the shadow, which is in our control and we can do a lot easier. We put our love in it. It's the love of our energy, the love of our heart. So that leads to the next line, which is Values contain binding properties, qualities, and attributes. You see, then again, values. Who, why, how, what, when, where. These values contain binding properties. You see, they all bound to each other. Just like chemistry. You see? It's compounds. That's why they're primary elements. That's why compass has 8 primary elements. Because they bind together. They have binding properties. You see, you team up identity and true self with purpose. They're in alignment. Then you align it with your time and energy. And then with your actions. And then with why how. And why how is the perfect binder. Because why how is recalibrating and self-correcting the entire mechanism. You see, this beautiful, establishes the bearings. The directional compass, that's what it does, is the recalibration mechanism of compass itself. Making sure that you always on true north, you're clarifying your identity, your true self. You always ask why how. Always. Why? Remember what why how is. I wrote it down here. So why how is the mechanism to manifest infinity. And why how makes infinity come true through action. See, it's a binding and why how. That's why it's called why how by compass in the first place. That's why the website is why how, because it is the pinnacle, is the fulcrum. I have spoken about what the fulcrum is. I said this, the leverage, the fundamental leverage, thanks to Archimedes, mathematics, geometry. Archimedes leverage. Fulcrum. Okay, the lever. It's beautiful. It's all motion now. It's all creation. It's all energy. It's all love. Creation creates creators. Thank you, Archimedes. You are a wonderful creator. You and your spheres are out of control. Anyway, so values contain binding properties, yeah? Qualities. The qualities is all important. And attributes. So each element has its own attributes, its own nature, and its own qualities and properties. And they all bind into compass. And we manifest free will as a result of that. Because it's like life itself. You see, it's all these components that come together to generate the heartbeat in the first place, biologically speaking, through the DNA. Because the heartbeat is not generated in a vacuum. No, it's a compound, meaning a binding properties and qualities and attributes of values, biological values, organizing agents and patterns of structure. And these biological through cells and all these beautiful symbiosis and homeostasis that happens as a result of creation itself, the human embryonic development, all these values come together and generate the heartbeat. As a result of it is the add up, you see, and that is what powers the human body. Because this is the beauty of it, the heartbeat generates the pulse that powers the human body, but it didn't come out of the vacuum. It came out of all the attributes and all the properties and all the qualities of the human body coming together to generate the conditions for that electromagnetic pulse, the singularity, to take place. It's the combination of it all. You see, it's the combination of it all. It's the organizing agent, pattern, and structure. It's the spherical nature of the force field of all the human cells coming together. The atoms, you see, the DNA, all these things coming together in a structured, coherent manner, highly intelligent, organizing agent. That's why everything that is alive has a spherical nature. And even non-alive objects like rocks, they also have atoms in them, and atoms are energy, and they have their own electromagnetic field. So everything is energy, really. Even things without actual life as we know it, you see, like rocks and things, they still have energy within them. They still have atoms. And these atoms, they have electromagnetic in nature. They have polarization. They have force fields. This is just the way it is. So everything is energy and organization. Everything is structure. So nature is not random. Creation is not random. It's not such a thing as Randomness. Well, there is random thoughts, incoherent behavior, irrational, illogical behavior. And because of that, we believe in things such as randomness, because it's not that nature, infinity is random. It's actually highly intelligent and structured. It's the opposite of random, really. But there is randomness nonetheless, and it comes from confusion. And confusion comes from unawareness. And unawareness comes from being unconscious. And that is why we are conscious, because we're the opposite of randomness. Okay. Now, well, what does that lead us to? Well, I have developed this mathematical equation based on the principles of creation itself, the sphere, the zero. You see at the circle, infinity itself. So, creation itself. So then it's this notion of mathematics. You go back to history, and then you have all these super amazing creators in history trying to decode infinity. And in a big way, I was able to truly understand it because I grasped the notions of all these great creators prior to me, all these heritage, these amazing human beings that have lived before me, and they formulated these notions of infinity, abstract thinking, and also tangible infinities, you see? And they've done it, They've done an amazing job. They brought us to today. So I was able to crack the code, not because I'm smart, it's just because I added everything up. You see values as the organizing agent, pattern, and structure. Once you understand the structure, you can see the patterns. And then these values contain binding properties, qualities, and attributes. And when you understand and you put them together, then everything makes sense and it clicks in, because creation is not random. Creation is highly structured, highly intelligent, highly conscious, highly self-aware. Is sentient. Is very, very much alive. It created us in the first place, guys. Hey, we are creators, but creation creates creators. So creation created us, and now we can create ourselves. So you see, it's an organizing agent at different scales of vibration and frequency, densities. We are the biological density of creation, but we are part of infinity nonetheless. We are energy in the end. Hey, think about it. We come from energy. Hey, heartbeat, energy. Sun, energy. We are energy in the end, but we are just highly structured energy. Biologically speaking, biochemically speaking, we are energy. We are current. We are signals. That's who we are. Signals. Signs, signals. Beats, and that's what we are, heartbeats. Oscillation, hey, resonance. Okay, so this is this equation. You know, it's just mathematical in nature, and I love it because it's not only mathematical in terms of traditional pure mathematics, which is infinity and that, but also computational, informational. You see, it's computational. You see, I fused it. I put computational and mathematics into computational mathematics of infinity. It's a branch of mathematics that I have been designing for a long time. It has to do with that. It's computational thinking, mathematical computational thinking applied to infinity. So that's what it truly is, if you think about it. Because it has a zero and the nature of zero and what zero represents from a computational point of view, but also what it represents from an energy point of view and a biology point of view. So it's all combined. It came together because of that very notion, the very notion of what I'm referring to, which is us as creators creating computers, which is digital, which is information, which is bits, you see? Signals again, on, off, one, zeros, signals. We design those circuits ourselves as creators. So you see, because we are the creators of such a wonderful thing, which is computing and digitization and all these amazing tech that we have developed. That's why I thought it was the best bridge, because we are the creators of that. We created computers. So infinity created us in the first place and allowed us to create computers with our own self-awareness and our consciousness and our free will. So then that's why I fused infinity itself with the computational concepts of ones and zeros. So in that way, we make sense of our creation, and we understand that our creation is just the result of a bigger creation that created us in the first place, which is infinity. So it comes together. So as you can see, 0 is infinite potential. So you look at the equation, is infinity to the power of infinity, meaning infinity raised to the power of infinity. A factorial is exponential, you see, infinity over infinity. You see, and the outcome of it, people would say, well, the answer to that will be infinity. Yes, but then again, if we think in those terms, we're being abstract. So let's just break it down to actual objective reality. Rather than staying on the abstract thinking of infinity, which we've done for thousands of years, let's make it tangible. Let's make it practical. Let's make it doable so we can actually compute it on computers, which are quite fast. We got these super amazing quantum computers nowadays, and then supercomputers. We are amazing. What we're doing, AI, all that stuff, that's wonderful. That proves our creation, who we are, amazing. We are creating. We are on a level at the moment where we are so amazing at creating that we are creating a thing capable of creation itself. Think about it. We are on we're on the verge of creating something capable of creating. How amazing is that? Beyond biology. So that's how amazing we are. So that's why I bridged it and I put the number 0 in a computational algorithm of networking as the answer to infinity, because that's what we are creating. We are creating infinity, aren't we? So because we are infinite, we are replicating infinity at our scale of creation. So we are mathematically, computationally speaking, wanting to crack the code of singularity, meaning us, who we are. So that's what we're doing. So that's why I did it this way. And I know these math fellas out there, they understand this and they relate to it. And eventually people would appreciate my contribution. I know. Because we are smart. And people, and I created this with love. And I know these super intelligent creators out there, eventually they will recognize my contribution. But I don't think about it, I just do. Hey, as we ought to do, create. So then you go infinity to the power of infinity, and that equals 0 in a network sense, meaning the primordial connection of networks. Because if you think in terms of networks, you have this connectivity, the internet and the World Wide Web and all that stuff that we have created, IP connectivity and all that connected and has created this spherical thing. Because if you think of the internet and all the nodes of the internet and the way the internet actually works, and you map it out and you zoom out the whole connection of it, all the branches, all the nodes, all the shards, all the clusters, all the computers connected, all the networks, once the 8 layers of the internet, as we call them, from the physical to the digital ones, all of them, when the 8 layers come together as one and you zoom out and you map it out with a graph GUI, meaning interface that you can see it on a computer and a monitor, and you watch it, it's spherical. Then again, it's spherical. It forms into a spherical shape. A neural network that's spherical, just like the brain. Because that's what we are doing. We are creating stuff, eh? And creation is spherical. So this notion, this mathematical network protocol that we use for communication, and it's 0.0.0.0, which is the primordial network, meaning it's like the event horizon of networks. It's like the singularity of networks. All networks rely on it. So it's like it's the DNS and all these different IPs and all this connectivity. That's why it's 0, because it's the origin, the first one. It doesn't have like an IP to it, like an address, like the sequence of numbers. It has only zeros. Why? Because it's the first one, it's the origin, and everything kind of like relies on it as the origin source. And if there's some sort of network effect, it kind of computationally goes back to the singularity, the vortex, which is this, and it keeps the network going. That's what it does. It's not an address per se. It's not a place where you go and you watch things or do things. It's not a site, it's not a website, but it is the domain itself. It's the singularity. is the event horizon, is where all the networks, all the nodes, all the farms, all the servers, all the computers rely on as the foundation of it. So they rely on it as the foundation of it. Is the network, is the heart of the network, is the heartbeat of the network. Without these protocol 0.0.0.0 for zeros 0.000, you can go to that website and then it's just gonna be this error. This infinite. It's like when you divide by 0, you got 1 divided by 0, infinite error, or like infinity, depending on the calculator and things. It gives you the same result. You go to a web browser and you type 0.0.0.0 and hit it, and then it's gonna give you an error, an indefinite error. Why? Because you're tapping into everything at once and you cannot compute it because it's everything. It's just a system that's there to redirect and make sure that there's a source, a point of origin, a singularity where everything emerges from. That's why it's a zero. It's the beginning. Is the network, is the beginning of the network. Without, just how amazing this is that without it, there will be no internet. You take the 0.0.0.0 protocol out of the equation and the whole internet collapses. There will be no internet. It will crash. Why? Because it needs a point of reference. It needs a feedback loop. It needs a self-referential point of, so it can continue. You see, singularity, event horizon, escape velocity, creation itself. For this beautiful thing that we created, the internet, we need this network, this point for it to operate as the way it does. And if you remove this protocol, then what is it? The network crashes, the network collapses. And then what do we have to do to bring it back online? Well, we bring the protocol back on. As simple as that. But then just think about it. So if this is the creation itself, singularity, which is what I've been talking about in this video from the beginning at the astronomical scale, all the scales, then just means that 0 is infinite potential, is infinite value, is creation itself. So you can change the value of the 0. Not necessarily, you can do it like computationally speaking with an IP address. You do it with an IP address, and then that takes you to a site or a computer, a website or whatever, right? It's the way we design the World Wide Web. A beautiful creation by an amazing human being. All these humans that were behind the creation of all the protocols and all these things, amazing. You are amazing people. So then again, we create this beautiful thing called the internet. So then, moving beyond the actual numerical of it, which is having an IP, the sense of the word, a server. So we can relay information and connect to the network. Beyond that, you can, because we're infinite, right? You apply this to infinity itself, not only computation, but actual real life, beyond digital, flesh life, us, reality. Not the metaverse. I know the metaverse exists and stuff, and there's a lot of push towards it. But beyond that, that's just digital. We are also physical, we are biological. We're not synthetic, we're biological. So let's talk about the biology of it, the physics of it, like the matter things of it. So we can change those values. It doesn't have to be an IP address. It can actually be beyond the IP address. It can be something much more powerful, like an emotion. And the way I represent my equation is with love, because I believe in love, because love is what created us in the first place. It's the mechanism of creation at the biological scale. So instead of having, infinity raised to the power of infinity equals 0.0.0.0, which is, singularity itself, computationally speaking, I changed it. So the values are not 0. The values are love. You see, you add the value that you choose, because we have free will to choose what value we add to our node, to our IP, to our address, because it's us, the individual. We choose. So then I said love, because love is creation at the biological scale, So it's almost like a joke, but not really, because it's actually based on objective reality. I have explained what love is and what love does. So infinity is that. Infinity is what we choose it to be. And in my case, I choose it to be love because love is the highest frequency of creation at the biological scale, which is us. It can be measured at the labs. So that's why. So this equation is you choose the value because 0 is infinite potential, remember? 0 starts the whole lot. It's the first number. Everything comes from 0, the sphere, the circle, electromagnetism. In the end, it's all about that. It's the 0. So 0 is infinity. So it's amazing. It's an amazing concept. It's not just beautiful. It's just a powerful notion, really. It truly is who we are, our nature. So that's why I chose to make it that. Infinity raised to the power of infinity equals love, that love, that love, that love, that love. I love you all. Hey. Now, okay. So the next one is infinite love framework, which I spoke about it, 10x love and what it means. You know, one person loving himself or herself, then self-transcends, true self-energy. Then you love others with your creations and just with your heart. And then you share love with 10 other people, and then those 10 people resonate the love back to you, reciprocate it, and then that becomes 10x love, and then it goes, and those 10 people give it to another 10, and then it's an infinite feedback loop of scales. So infinite love framework, I have referred to it in a previous video, and that equals self-love expands outward infinitely. You see, it starts with self-love, us, the individual, starts with us, and we go outward infinitely. There's no limits because love has no boundaries. The power of love. I'm not a singer, like a professional singer. I do have songs. I'm gonna publish them. I have produced. I have written and recorded a few songs. I got an album. I got like 10 or 15 songs, but I haven't put them out there yet because they need a little bit of a touch. I need to really like master them properly. I haven't done it yet. So if anyone out there is willing to give me a hand with this, because I'm not a sound engineer, I would appreciate it. So self-love expands outward infinitely. You see, infinite love framework equals self-love expands outward infinitely. And I have explained this, how it works mathematically as an algorithm. It scales. It's beautiful. It's all based on objective reality. It's called, mathematically, if you want to think in terms of gossip protocol, like computational, it's called gossip protocol. In networks, gossip protocol, it's the same. Gossip protocol is that, but applied to biology and love and networks and humans rather than computers and servers. So in real life, biology is called the infinite love framework, 10x love cycle. So then reality feeds love back to you infinitely. You see, that's what it does. When you do this, when you engage in the infinite love framework, equals self-love expands outward infinitely due to the 10x love framework. Infinite love, reality feeds love back to you infinitely because it's a result of your action. It's action and reaction. See, it's cause and effect. It's just polarization. It's electromagnetism. What's polarization? Two poles, right? One acts as a positive pole, the other one as a negative, so it creates polarization, electromagnetism. And that generates what? Motion, creation itself, self-awareness, movement. And that's what we are. So then again, the feedback loop is you putting it out there, and the electromagnetism of it comes back eventually because that's just the way it is. It's a feedback loop. Remember, electromagnetism, what's magnetism? It attracts. You're attracting love. When you emit love, when you create love, you're attracting love as a result of it. It's magnetic. You see, you're magnetizing yourself with love because this is our nature. So love is a signal, right? It's a frequency, it's a bandwidth, it's a vibration, it's a waveform, the highest that the heart can emit. And then people have a heart, so they have signals. See, they sending, receiving, just like us, quantum entanglement. We all pair with others through communication. Pheromones, all sorts of ways we do it. Neurotransmission is resonance in general, electricity, biochemically. So we're communicating constantly, and because everyone has a heart, they have the ability to feel love and process love because of this sending receiving notion of bidirectional, multidirectional feedback loop of love. So when we send love out there, it's magnetism, it attracts, it resonates, and it gives love back as the answer, as the result. That's why infinity to the power of infinity equals love dot love dot love dot love dot love, because that's the singularity event of love. Love attracts love. You see, it's magnetic. So infinite love framework equals self-love expands outward infinitely. Thus, reality feeds love back to you infinitely, because it's an infinite feedback loop. It's a positive feedback loop. It's as a result of infinity itself feeding you back. Because if you look at the symbol of infinity, what's the symbol of infinity? Is this system, this feedback loop that self-reinforces. It reinforces itself. It propagates to infinity. Is self-perpetuation. Is to perpetuity into infinite. So that's what it is this beautiful thing. And then that is a sacred process. You see, because life is sacred. We are sacred. We are an amazing species, benevolent species. This is who we are. So this is a sacred process, very sacred. It truly is. Us, life, creation itself, energy, us, like children are sacred, right? If you think about it, we love our children. This is the most sacred, the most pure thing that we all capable of creating. And then obviously life itself is love. So sacred creation, you see, we're sacred. We are sacred. So this is a sacred process. And it cannot be ended as it's infinite in nature. Love cannot end because it's infinite in nature. In fact, it just is. It's electricity, it's energy, it's infinite. So it cannot be stopped. It cannot be bound. It's boundless, it's infinite, it's forever. Love is just that. It's beautiful. And that's why we exist in the first place. And that's why we're just growing and growing and growing in numbers, in the billions. And I have mentioned this before. I believe that in not that long distant future, maybe a few thousand years, maybe less, we're going to get to the trillions. We're going to hit the trillion mark. Not that long into the future. Us humans, we're going to. And imagine, if we're in the billions now just on Earth, because we don't know if there is humans in other planets. That's the other thing. I'm speculating right now, making an assumption, for sure. I'm going out on a limb here. But we don't know. It might be because life itself formed here, but we don't know if it came from here. What about if the seed of life at a human scale is also in different planets and it moves across asteroids and things, comets, who knows, across other galaxies, other planets, other solar systems. And there's other DNA structures of the human organism in different planets that we don't know of at the different stage of evolution. We don't know that. The own planet with the proper conditions, what they call it. I don't remember the word. There's the perfect location for a planet to be in the threshold where life forms, stuff like Earth. I remember the term. It's an astronomical term for it. We don't know if there are other humans already out there. And not only humans, other intelligent species, benevolent races, benevolent, self-conscious, self-aware species out there. Love, heart-based, love-based like us, conscious, self-aware, sentient, intelligent. We don't know. Maybe looking different, not looking like us, like, the movies and stuff. But who knows? We don't know. To imagine that we are alone in the universe, as we call it, which I don't call it the universe, I call it infinity, because it's much more than one universe or a multiverse. It's an infinite number of, singularities. So we don't know if we're alone. It's like this idea of flat Earth and stuff. We know that's wrong. So how do we know we're alone? See, we always have this dogma that goes away. So you see, maybe there's already humans out there, and maybe we're already in the trillions and we don't know. Different planets, who knows? But I think from an Earth point of view, us, Mama here, planet Earth, home, the Republic of planet Earth, I reckon that we're gonna get not that long into the future, into the trillions, ourselves, with our own evolution, our own self ability to reproduce, our own free will, we're gonna get to the trillions. Imagine trillions of creators. Imagine that. We're already in the billions. Everyone is creating at their own scale. So that's why this is a sacred process. You see, it never ends. It cannot be ended as it's infinite in nature. Creation is infinite in nature. And at the biological scale, love is the mechanism of creation. The human heart, we love with the human heart. We live to love and we love to live. I speak about this all the time. The process starts with you. Remember that. Starts with you. Self-love equals infinite love. Because the love for yourself leads to infinity because we are infinite in nature. You see infinite potential. The zero, this is who we are. The sphere, compass, sundial. Us have the infinite potential to create infinite love because we are infinite love in nature. This is who we are infinite. So self-love equals infinite love. You see, the process starts with us, with you, the individual, and then it moves into infinity, here and now. So I'm going to read this whole sequence one time. Compass manifests free will. Values as the organizing agent, pattern, and structure. Values contain binding properties, qualities, and attributes. Infinity to the power of infinity equals 0.0.0.0. Infinity raised to the power of infinity equals love. Infinite love framework equals self-love expands outward infinitely. Reality feeds love back to you infinitely. This is a sacred process. It cannot be ended as it's infinite in nature. The process starts with you. Self-love equals infinite love, here and now. Okay, that's today's video. Humanity, I love you all with all my heart, with all my mind. Remember who we are. We are the human race. We're a benevolent species, a heartful species, a good species, a love-based species, a heart-based species. Love you all with all my heart, with all my mind. We are the citizens of the Republic of Planet Earth, the citizenry of the Republic of Planet Earth. We are the leaders of the Republic of Planet Earth. We are the defenders of the Republic of Planet Earth. Our mother, Mother Earth, Mama, our host, home. And this is a point of origin. This is where we come from. Okay? All of us. I love you all with all my heart, with all my mind. We're all infinite eternal creators. We're all infinite eternal compasses. We're all infinite eternal sundials. I love you all with all my heart, with all my mind.